Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to another fun-filled edition of Technique Tuesday. Today, we are going to talk about pixie dust, also known as mica powder. So, join me here on my YouTube channel, and let's get started. Okay, so what is pixie dust? Pixie dust is used as a coating that you can put on your beads to give you kind of an iridescent shimmer to your beads. And even though it looks like an enamel, it is definitely not an enamel. So you don't want to confuse pixie dust with enamels. I got this little kit from Arrow Springs, and I like it because you get, I think this is a little 2-ounce envelope full of all kinds of different colors. So this one came from Arrow Springs. Now, pixie dust is also known as mica powder. And this one, of course, I got off of Amazon, and it was funny because I ordered it, and this comes from a skateboard resin company. And my husband's all like, what are you buying from a skateboard company? He was worried I was going to start skateboarding or something. No. Now, mica powder, mica is actually a mineral. So it's not the powdered glass like enamels is. It's a mineral that gets ground down into a fine powder. Oh, these are so pretty. And yeah, it's used in eyeshadow, it's used in lipstick and other cosmetics. The resin artists who pour the resin art love it. It's used in paints to give you that metallic pearlescent shimmer in different paints. So mica powder and pixie dust are pretty much the same thing. And I'm going to show you how to put it on your bead right now. Alrighty, for starters, even though this isn't enamel, I apply it the same method and technique as I do my enamels. So, and I also take the same precautions. So, we got a wet paper towel underneath a marver. This one up here is the copper from the skateboard company, and this is a shimmering sparkle teal from Miller Tools at Arrow Springs. So I wanted just to do the two as a side-by-side comparison. Some of these pixie dust, you put it on and it doesn't look like this when it goes on. So like this one here, I had a white bead. I thought I put blue on it, but it didn't come out blue. It's some kind of shimmery look to it. So just note that sometimes it's not always comes out the color that you want. And there was an artist who years ago did a chart on the different pixie dust that was out there. And I'll put a link to that chart so you guys can see. What she did is she took some different pixie dust and some different mica powders and applied them to clear and black and white. And so you guys can see kind of how they look when they're applied. So I'll give you that link in the description below. Okay, so I got my marver, I got my wet paper towel, my ventilation's on, I have my mask. Let's get started. Okay, here we go. I just made 2 little barrels on this mandrel here so I can do each of the colors on the same mandrel. And one thing that you guys need to know about pixie dust is that it does burn. So you can't go back and forth from the flame into the powder because it'll just turn brown and it'll burn. So the way that you apply this pixie dust is you get your bead pretty hot. You want to get it to where it is glowing. So torch it up just like so. And then I'm just going to roll it in the dust, just like that. And you can kind of see it. And then I'm going to kind of tap my mandrel to shake off anything that's not on there. And that's it, you guys. There's no flashing, there's no going back in the flame. That's your coating. So let's do the other one and see what the teal looks like. The sparkling teal. I'm going to heat up that second barrel. Now you can apply this the same way that you apply your enamels. You can use a stencil, you can use little tools to get a little design in there, you can roll it across, you can sprinkle it on. I'm just doing the rolling method here so we can get an idea. Tap, 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 tap. And there you go. That's it. And you can see that it's not really the same color as it is in the tray. It's got more of an iridescence on it. I also want to point out that let me see if I can get a really good picture. Some of the pixie dust, it doesn't stick. I've tried to get a focus here. It doesn't really stick. And so when you lay your beads into your kiln, sometimes the pixie dust, it doesn't all fall off, but like just that outer layer that didn't stick to the glass, it's gonna stick on the bottom of your kiln. So if you're worried about your kiln getting pixie dust all over it, go ahead and put some kiln shelf paper down, or maybe stick your beads in a kiln on the bead rack so that they don't touch the floor of your kiln. Because I had an issue where my kiln had pixie dust all over it, and so I had to kind of clean it after I was done. So just be aware of that. There is dust that isn't going to stick to your bead. Let's see if I can, there's some I'm scraping off right now, and it's on the edge of my X-Acto knife there. So I'm going to let these cool and show you more of an example of how the stuff doesn't always stick so great. So one of the ways that I do like using pixie dust is when it's encased, because it just provides a really great little background for like raised flowers and so on and so forth, any other little designs. So I'm going to go ahead and heat up my bead here. And I'm going to roll it in the copper. Tap, 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 tap it off. And now you got to keep your bead warm by maybe flashing it way, way up high out of camera range. And keep that bead warm. Don't put it in the flame. Just keep it warm enough that it won't crack. And now I've got this little teeny baby rod of clear. I am just going to get a nice gather on my clear, and then I'm going to place it on the bead. And I do this just getting a gather and going around. I'm trying really hard not to burn that pixie dust with either the flame or the hot glass that's on the edge of my clear. So don't let, it's kind of a trick, because you don't want your clear so hot that it burns your pixie dust, but you don't want it so cold that it doesn't go on. So you got to play around with it, just like everything in Lampwork. You got to play around with it and find your little technique. Heat up a blob, place it on there. Go ahead and encase it the way you encase. I'm going to stop here because this is boring. But anyways, that's how you encase your pixie dust beads. And this one here is encased. And I wish I'd have put some flowers on it because it would look cool. But yeah, that's the way that I use this pixie dust, is by encasing it with clear. And then you can go to town on all of your designs. So here's the two that I did earlier, and they're finally cool enough where I can touch them. So what I'm going to do is just show you how that pixie dust doesn't always stick. There's going to be a layer that sticks, and then there's going to be a little layer that doesn't stick. And this is the stuff that'll come off in your kiln if you set your beads on the bottom of your kiln. So just be aware of that. Once you pull the beads out of the kiln when they're cool, put them in some hot soapy water, give them a little zhuzh around, and you should be able, the stuff that's going to stick will wash off, and the stuff that doesn't stick will stick in your washing bowl. So that's it, you guys. That is pixie dust. Just another fun little material to go out and play with. I would definitely recommend starting out with these little envelopes from either Arrow Springs or on Amazon. This stuff is going to last me for years and years and years. So buy small quantities first, and I'll give you a link to that chart in the description below. Have a great day, and I'll see you soon. Bye.